Well, I'm delighted for this podcast. We've got Sandeep Walia, who is the Chief Operating Officer for the Middle East for Marriott International. Sandeep, a very big welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Pleasure, Jonathan. Nice to be with you. I can clearly see there's some wood behind you for a fire, so I assume you're calling from somewhere cold.
Well, I'm not actually. I'm trying to keep cool in the cellar of our house at the moment. So that's
All
why
right.
I'm
Okay.
here. But anyway, good to see you. You're obviously in Dubai at the moment, and getting ready for FHS.
Absolutely, yes. Looking forward to it.
Fantastic. Now, Sandeep, I've always been intrigued. 230 or over 230 hotels you currently operate, or is under your responsibility, probably not operate, but under your responsibility, a massive pipeline of some 110 hotels. So, what does the normal day look like for you, and how do you manage this?
Interesting question for sure, Jonathan. I think there are times when you've planned your day from A to Z, and at times you're sticking to that A to Z, but there are times when certainly the day starts and it doesn't pan out the way you had expected it to because of the different things which could come and pop up from different parts of the different countries where we operate our hotels. But I must say, overall, it's exciting to get up every morning. I'm super excited when I get up. There are different things that, of course, energize my day. One for sure is people. That's where a lot of my time goes. Whether one is traveling between the different countries in the Middle East to one of our 230 open hotels, or one is traveling to a location where we have yet to open a hotel and might be going there to announce or sign a hotel or going to see the project. But for sure, one of the most exciting is to go and meet our people in different hotels. End of the day, if you look at our business, it's all about people. We truly don't own hotels. We manage hotels, as you know better, Jonathan. So we truly own is what we own is our brands. And it's our people that really bring our brands to life. So it's all about them who create these experiences, who create these memories for our guests, who make all the difference. So first, for sure, is a lot of excitement around people and their growth. And that certainly leads me to my second point, which is growth itself.
Well, but before we go on to growth, I mean, certainly I know that's one of your passions is people because you're speaking, you're one of the judges for us on the Sustainable Hospitality Challenge that's taking place on the Monday before FHS starts. And that is truly exciting. I mean, I think some of the innovation and some of the students that are presenting on this is extraordinary. But what are some of your, and I know last year also you were on our educational afternoon with students, particularly from Emirates Academy. But what are some of your initiatives at the moment that you're doing to encourage the youth, to encourage women into the industry, into Marriott?
Jonathan, there are multiple things we're doing in multiple different countries, but I think maybe I'll take up two, keeping the time we have. One is called Tehseen, and one is our female leadership initiative. So when we look at the female leadership initiative, we truly, first of all, believe in having a diverse workforce, and as the word indicates, it helps to have a diverse opinion on the table. So therefore, it truly helps to have a diversity in the workforce. And of course, one of the diversity to talk about is female leadership itself. In fact, this week itself, we opened the St. Regis in Riyadh, which is the launch of the brand into the country. And the GM of that hotel is our first female GM in Saudi Arabia. But it's not only about having a first female GM in Saudi or Egypt or Turkey, but it's about having a lot of female leaders for tomorrow. So we started a initiative which was female leadership initiative in UAE, in Egypt, in Turkey, in Jordan, where we are taking a lot of the leaders of today who are not GMs, who might be GM minus two in terms of a leadership level. But we're taking them today, taking them through a program where we build what it would take for them to be ready for tomorrow. So we have approximately 100 female leaders between these 5 countries getting ready to be general managers or hotel managers of tomorrow. The second thing I referred to was Tessin, which is a program which we have in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and in Egypt. In Saudi Arabia, we have partnered with Cornell University, and we're running this program where we take the local talent from Saudi Arabia. As you know, Jonathan, better that when we talk about authenticity in our industry, it comes a lot with localization. More the local, the talent, more the authenticity. Nothing like the people of that country welcoming the guests. So we've taken a lot of Saudi nationals and we're taking them through a program which is which we have partnered with Cornell University. We have about 150 Saudi graduates today. And out of that, more than 100 are actually working in our hotels. So they go through different disciplines of the hotel industry in the hotels itself, and then they graduate and join us in different supervisory or leadership roles. But it's not only about that, it's also about getting general managers from Saudi Arabia. So we've also taken this further, and we are doing a high potential Tessin event, which is about 8 different leaders chosen from our hotels, and they're going through a fast track, if I may put it that way, program where they would be ready to be general managers and hotel managers of our hotels in the next year and a half. Because as we look at our pipeline, we today have 35 open hotels in Saudi, but we have an equal number of 35 hotels to open. So we need so many more general managers. And when we move to Egypt, in fact, we are going to be in Egypt this week itself for the graduation of our second graduation ceremony, which is a 4-year program, which is with a local university where they go through a complete graduate program. And the students would be graduating and would be joining our hotels in Egypt itself. As for example, last year we had about 84 students graduate, and this year we have about 60 plus students graduating who will then join the different Marriott hotels in Egypt.
Fantastic. So this must be an absolute key issue for you right now is trying to bring new leaders into Marriott, particularly with your pipeline. Now, when we look at your pipeline of over 110 hotels, how are you innovating and developing? Because this must be extremely exciting as well when you're opening all these new hotels with owners. What is it that you're pushing forward in order to be different, to look at the future, to transform?
Sure. I could go on different disciplines and talk about innovation, because often we can connect innovation with technology. But it's not about technological innovation only. That is one piece of it. The fact that we can use technology to make sure that we are able to personalize the stay. For example, if Jonathan came to one of our hotels and was in Thailand, sorry for letting that out, Jonathan, but you were in Thailand and you kind of had an experience or you enjoyed something, the next time you check into another part of the world, we should be able to proactively deliver to that preference of yours. But I'll move away from that preference part because that's quite linked with our loyalty program. And if I had to touch upon that, today we have more than 185 million Marriott Bonvoy members whose likes and dislikes we're able to use to personalize the stays. And if you're a Marriott Bonvoy member, you could use the app to book, pay, check in, check out, communicate with the hotel. So that entire link of the loyalty program with the technology has been one big focus of ours. But if I had to move back to our people, a passion point which we spoke about, we also launched something called iJobs. And this is purely a tool where if I, as Sandeep, I'm working in one of our hotels, but I want to kind of grow and I want to train in the discipline I'm not into. So, for example, if I'm working in rooms, but I want to train in F&B, we've started to open different positions where our associates, our people, can work in different disciplines depending on the need of that hotel for that particular day. So I'm not a front office agent, but I'm an agent who could work in front office, F&B, any discipline, and therefore it eventually helps the hotel to drive workforce better where the need is, but also for that associate, for that lady or gentleman, for that host to train in all the different departments and be able to grow eventually. So I would say there has been different innovation from the guest point of view. There have been different things we have been looking at from our own people point of view as well. And of course, we're looking at how we can do different things on sustainability, which is a big subject today. And of course, something which our last focus on the FHS conference was on sustainability for that competition as well. But that's another area where we are working and trying to do a different things on sustainability. By 2025, not only in the Middle East, but across our 8,000 hotels, the idea would be that we are able to reduce our waste to landfill by 45% or have reduction of water intensity by 15% or carbon intensity by 30%. So different goals that we set on sustainability as well.
That's fantastic, and it's good to hear of some of these initiatives that you're making within Marriott, and also showing leadership as well. Now, tell me a little bit about the growth of Marriott, and where is it specifically you're finding that growth taking place at the moment? Obviously, we've got Saudi and Egypt, which is both very exciting for the industry. But where is it for Marriott that you're seeing those sort of niche markets, growth opportunities?
Sure. I would clearly say that, if you had asked me this question, Jonathan, a few years back, I would have been saying UAE. In fact, last year we opened our 50th property among our different brands that we have. Today we have 31 brands. We opened our 50th hotel in the city of Dubai alone. And I'm not talking UAE, I'm talking Dubai. Fast forward a little bit, if you'd asked me this question about a year and a half back, I would have said Qatar with the World Cup. We today have about 20 plus properties in the city of Doha itself. But today, when you're actually asking me this question, there's a lot of excitement around Saudi Arabia and Turkey. So our goal is in Turkey by end of 2025 to get to 100 hotels. But today, where we speak and where we're standing, in fact, I just returned from Saudi Arabia yesterday, where we just signed another hotel of ours with the Ritz-Carlton in Al Khobar. There's a lot of growth in Saudi Arabia. So today, we out of the 230 hotels that you spoke about, 35 of them are in Saudi Arabia. But we have an equal number signed and in the pipeline in Saudi, in the kingdom. And it goes very well with the vision of the country with 2030. But what's important, Jonathan, and what it really excites me is you were talking about getting up and excitement, bringing all that together. What excites me is the fact that this year is an important year. And I'll explain why. Because since the last few years, we have been talking a lot about different projects getting signed and getting announced, whether it was in the NEOM, whether in Red Sea, whether in Diriyah Gate, or even Riyadh and Jeddah. But this is the year where actually the tire hits the road, because we are opening the St. Regis in Riyadh this week. On the 15th of September, we have the opening of the St. Regis in Riyadh and Via Riyadh. We also have the St. Regis in Red Sea opening at the end of this year. And then we transit into a lot of more openings in Saudi with the Ritz-Carlton Reserve, which will be, in fact, our first Ritz-Carlton Reserve in Middle East to open. And then it's a spiral of openings in the kingdom.
And there seems to be a real focus here on luxury as well. Is that intentional?
Yes, it is. I wouldn't say that all the opening is purely in the luxury space, but yes, we are seeing a lot of growth come in our luxury space. As you know, we have 8 brands in within our portfolio, which we focus in luxury. So we kind of look at the lifestyle. We have the Edition and the W. We also have the Ritz-Carlton and St. Regis in our traditional luxury space. And at the high end, we have the Bulgari. And of course, we also have the collection brands with Luxury Collection. So a lot of growth coming in the luxury space, especially when we look at in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. But also, I must say, returning back where we are talking from in UAE, we also recently announced the W in Al Marjan Island, which is, as you know, better. Russell Khema is getting a lot of focus recently with gaming, and therefore we are also looking at a lot of projects coming in that space as well in the lifestyle area. So we kind of have just recently signed the W in Al Marjan Island as well. But if you look at the openings, we've had 30 properties open in 2022, 2023. And to your point, a lot of focus on luxury because we're seeing a lot of growth in luxury come in. I think post-COVID, a trend had already started pre-COVID, Jonathan, with a lot of people moving from product to experiences. But COVID just accelerated that trend, and a lot of people are spending much more than what they used to.
Yeah. So if you were of all your brands, if you had the opportunity of opening one of them, which would it be? Which would be your favorite brand to open?
All children are equal, Jonathan. I think it really depends, and I'm not trying to wriggle out of the question, but it really truly depends upon the area and which part of the world or which part of the city you're looking at. So, for example, we are opening the St. Regis in Riyadh this week, and it's opening in this shopping complex of Via Riyadh, which demands a luxury property because all the boutiques that have opened in Via Riyadh are the high-end luxury shopping area, so to speak. So it kind of demands that part. But if you've also recently announced in Neom, for example, we've announced both luxury properties with the Luxury Collection and the W, but we've also got an Autograph coming. We also have a Marriott. We're also looking a lot of growth in the residential space, for example. A lot of people have started to move into long-term residential. So we've had a lot of demand of Marriott executive apartments and Element, which is a long stay proposition. Also, a lot of people are looking at branded residences to buy. So it's quite diverse in terms of what the need is, which is the good part for us because having 31 brands in our portfolio, it helps us to reach out to the different needs of the different regions. I'll take one more example to try to answer that question of yours. So we recently signed a deal in Rua Al Madina, which is the holy city. We signed 8 hotels, 7,000 rooms, and they're right next to each other, and they move from in the luxury space to premium to select. So I think there's a demand and a need for different brands within the same city, but also, of course, depending on the location.
Yeah, I mean, I must say, just listening to you, Sandeep, it's we're lucky to work in this sector, aren't we? It's so dynamic,
Absolutely.
and
Yes.
I can feel your love for our industry. But maybe just to summarize, then, your leadership style, and in one sentence for me.
I would say it would be more on situational because it really depends upon if there is an emergency, you would take on and lead by example. But most of the times when it's not an emergency, it would be leading by connecting with people. And I often say this, that you need the heart of an innkeeper, but a brain of an entrepreneur. And I would use that in the leadership style, that one needs to be an innkeeper at heart, connecting with people and seeing that they are growing, because they're the ones who are kind of connecting with our guests and making the experiences happen and the business tick. But having the brain of an entrepreneur, or being financial savvy, so we make business sense for our owners, eventually who are going to help us grow the business.
Nice. Okay. And then one final question for you. If you were to summarize your career in one sentence, what would you say?
Exciting. It's been exciting because I've been able to travel different parts of the world, and those experiences have helped me grow. But also the fact that I've been fortunate enough to have a lot of mentors who've helped me grow and show me the stair or the elevator to where growth is. And I feel fortunate today to where I am to be able to do the same and give a lot of opportunities to our people to grow.
Fantastic. Well, Sandeep, thank you so much for spending some time with me. And I very much look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks today, in Abu Dhabi at FHS. And as always, love your passion, and very much look forward to seeing you judging the Sustainable Hospitality Challenge and just being part of the event.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. I equally look forward to being in Abu Dhabi in 2 weeks and can't wait to see you in person there. Thank you so much for your time today.